with Pikes and Ride. Welcome to Nonstop Rock Talk. Really nice talking to you today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Tyson?
I am very well, thank you. Just getting through this staying home thing and trying to make the best of my time.
Yes. The staying home thing it's kind of a little crazy, and I don't know if you have any kids, but I got a 7-year-old, so after about 3 weeks of that, it really gets crazy, especially when they tell you that there's no more school for the rest of the year. So there is homeschool, but you're going to be in close quarters for the remainder till next school year. So it's okay though. We'll get through it.
I mean, I have 2 kids, but they're back and forth between here and my mom's. So, and the thing is, it gets really boring when they're not here, actually, because it's just like after they've been driving you crazy for days and hours on end, and doing conference calls and everything. It's like he went to stay at his grandmother's house, and all of a sudden it's really, really quiet and kind of boring, and you're twiddling your thumb like, what am I going to do now? So, and it's like, usually it's like, okay, who can I video chat, or who can, which is kind of nice that we have that technology now where you can video chat with someone, or you just pick up the phone, right?
And as a matter of fact, that's what the band has been doing a lot of lately. Like today, Thursdays are our normal practice days, and because we're on stay at home rules right now. That we still like to get together and talk and shoot the shit. So we'll get on Google Hangouts, and everybody's got video on, and we'll just talk about what we're going to do next, and just shoot the shit, just to feel like we still got everything continue going. So I kind of feel that's pretty important.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, I love that Hangouts thing. I mean, that's how I talk to my buddies, and I haven't done a video chat on it yet with them, but I've done one on like Facebook Messenger and whatnot. So, I mean, there's so many avenues.
Yeah, there is, and it's great to have that. I mean, I've done the Hangouts. I've got a buddy who is in Argentina, and we use it, chat back and forth, talk about he's helping us with some marketing stuff with the band, and it's awesome. To have that ability. Even though we're going through all this, but there's still ways to get stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, remember when, like, the Jetsons, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you remember the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to talk to each other by video, and you're like, that's never going to happen.
Never going to happen, yeah.
And sure enough, here we are now, right?
Here we are.
Yes. So let's talk about Asphalt Valentine. For those that don't know, kind of give me a little history of the band. I know it is a long story, but I mean, I think it's a really good story.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of give you the shorter version, but we've been around, as Asphalt Valentine for about 15 years now. So, we started out in about 2005 or 6, and we had a collection of songs, and we had signed with Bill Chavis on Chavis Records, and we have released our first full length in 2009 called Strip Rock Roll, and that did pretty good. We had a couple lineup changes, but in 2010 we really were trying to hit the road, promote the record. So we spent I think it was about 3 months out on the road. Going from state to state, and then, after that tour was over, we go back out and hit it for, a long weekend, or, a week at a time or so. And then, things just, with people in bands and stuff, people kind of move on, and they do their own thing. And, we had really tried to promote the record, but I'm not sure that music at the time was really what people were interested in. Because we were just a really hard driving, kind of punkish attitude kind of style. And we did okay. Enough that we decided to do another EP in 2014 It was only 6 songs, but we felt it was really strong. But we thought that we would try to do that on our own with no label, and I think that was kind of a mistake for us. We really should have had that support of the family. But you live, you learn, you try things on your own. We thought it was a great record. We still do. We hope that with releasing our new record that just came out, that maybe people will go to our back catalog and check some of that stuff out. But really, it was kind of disappointing for us that we weren't doing as well as we were, just because we didn't have the sales, we didn't have the label behind us, and our guitar player had moved to Myrtle Beach, so everybody just started moving, and it was like, wow, what are we doing? It was just kind of a little bit frustrating. And then, so we weren't sure the direction of the music industry was going, but where we saw it going was people weren't doing full-length albums anymore. They were just doing singles and stuff. So, we'd done the full length, we'd done the EP, and we had done one single. So we said, let's just try the single thing and try to do that. And we released a song called "The Only" back in, I think it was about 2017 as a single. My buddy that I was just telling you about from Argentina, he was doing a backpacking trip. He climbed the whole Andes Mountains on foot by himself, and he had contacted me to write him a song. So I did, and I thought it came out fantastic, and it was just so good that we kind of had to put it out there. And then I wrote Twisted Road just shortly thereafter, and we had recorded that actually back in early 2018. And we were going to release that as a single as well. But later that year, our guitar player had committed suicide. So we were all kind of up in arms, and we just had no direction. We didn't know where we were going to go. We didn't know if we were packing it up.
Yeah.
And then, so we weren't really doing a whole lot back then. But I'm sure y'all are very well the band Asphalt Valentine. We're good friends with them, and they gave me a call because their singer at the time had abruptly quit on them. So they asked me to do some shows for them. I learned about 17 songs in 2 weeks, and I hit the road with them. And that feeling of being back out there in the camaraderie with, other musicians and getting on stage, meeting the band, I was like, oh my God, where has this been? I totally forgot about this. And as soon as I came back, I said, guys, we're not doing this single stuff anymore. We're going to put out a record. We're going to give it our full force. And so we began writing. We contacted Bill again, who's now running Highball Music, and he signed us, and here we are with a new record.
Yeah, speaking of Highball Music, which the first album was on Chavez, but that's the same label, right? Like, it's same
owner, Bill. Yeah, he went through some changes. He, like us, he was kind of a newer label at the time, and we were a newer band, and I think we all had to go through some changes in growing up, and he did that, and we did that on our own, and he created Highball, and while we were crafting our sound a little bit more. So he's got a really good label, some great bands on there right now.
He does, and I really like the stuff that he's doing, especially the Every Mother's Nightmare stuff, how he's gone back and he's released some of their previous work, and the detail he puts into the vinyls, and like he did the green vinyl for that Every Mother for the Grind album, and that looks amazing.
Yeah.
I bought a copy of it just for the simple fact that it was on just to have that green vinyl, and I love it. So
he's got some really good ideas, and he's stacking some people up around him, and he's kind of starting to think outside of the box a little bit more. And Every Mother's Nightmare has been a great band for Bill to have on, and I think he just signed him on for another 5 years, so which is really cool because we got to play with them a couple times back in October, and they're just the coolest guys, and we're a great fit to play some live shows with them. So we can't wait to do that again tomorrow.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. That like he's just. I mean, I've dealt with him a few times, and he's been fantastic. And I interviewed Rick Rule, I think, a couple of years ago, and he was really awesome. And they are good guys. And
yeah, he's a really cool guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah. So you were speaking of The Only, and I watched the video, and the first scene is the gentleman. What was his name again? Sorry, from Argentina.
His name is Joey Shanka.
Okay, and that first scene of the video, and he's talking, and what is he? He's more or less there was a storm the night before, and the snow came in or something, and I'm just watching, and I'm thinking, man, I don't know if I could personally do that. Like, honestly,
yeah.
I just think I'm too much of a pussy. Really, it's like I don't think I could endure that.
I think most of us are. I've known Joey since high school, so I've known him for 25 years or so, and he's always been a good friend of mine. And his path took him after college just a totally different direction. He just decided that he was kind of going down a path that was going to lead to nowhere good. And so he kind of found himself. He started out by hiking the whole Appalachian Trail here in the U.S. and the whole Rockies Mountains, and he'd write books about them. And then he went down to South America and did the whole Andes Mountains on foot. And that's when he contacted me while he was out there in a hospital, and he said he had some poetry in his head, and he sent it to me. And so that's when I wrote him the song. And then when we decided to do the video for it, I said, well, what are we going to do? We kind of did it on our own. We didn't know how it was going to do. So we wanted to film some of the band, but we had him send us just a ton of video that he shot himself while he was out there, hiking. So all that footage is him that he filmed himself. It's real. I mean, that's what he did. It's amazing.
Man, that's a life's journey. I gotta say, that is crazy. He's just, some people are like that, and more power to him, because I think it's awesome. Yeah, I do too. I totally agree. Now, going back before the band, I'm kind of curious about your musical background. Like, what kind of drove you down the road of rock and roll? What kind of influenced you? I mean, being from Atlanta, there's so many great artists that have come out of that great city. Yeah. I mean, Butch Walker, Nathan Hudson Blondes, Jackal, the Black Crowes. That's just a few of them, that are off the top of my head. Yeah. But I'm just kind of curious as what kind of influenced you.
Well, honestly, I would have to say it really started, when I was 11 or 12. I got my first guitar then, and the album that was out at that time that had just come out was Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Cool.
And so you can imagine how cool I thought Flash was, with that guitar and all those guitar licks and everything like that. And that really just was, powerful to me. I mean, I always liked the music growing up. After the kind of Guns N' Roses era and the 80s era, I never went to the grunge scene. I kind of went more down the punk rock path. So I was really into Social Distortion and
cool.
Bad Religion and all that kind of stuff. And all the while, I still liked, Metallica and all the metal bands. And, I wasn't really playing. I played a little bit in bands in high school, but it was nothing really serious. And the bands that I did play in were more metal. And I didn't do anything for years. I don't think I picked up the guitar for, 3 or 4 years. And I wasn't a singer or a songwriter. I think I got, I don't know what got in me to pick it up, but I just picked it up and I started writing some lyrics, and I felt that I could write some melodies to some lyrics, and that's kind of how I got started. So, I always went to shows around here. There's always great bands, local bands that were really good. And I'd find some musicians, and the old school way, you'd open up the local alternative newspaper and go through the ads and see who's looking for a guitar player, and so that's how you used to do it. Now you can kind of go online and find people, but that's where I started, and that's just what it developed into now.
Yeah, I mean that Guns album, I remember when that came out, and I think there was like a rock line special on the radio. So they previewed the album, I think a few days before it came out. And I had a friend, and he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Can you record that for me?" And he did. He recorded the whole thing, and they played all these new tracks, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, I can't believe how good this stuff is. Like, I know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you didn't, I mean, Appetite was such a great record, so I was already a fan of Guns N' Roses. So the Use Your Illusion albums were a little bit different, but they were still, in my opinion, really strong, and they blew my mind as well.
Yeah, I've had the conversation with someone before. I was like, could they have broken it down and only done one album and take the best cuts? But I don't think they could have. I think there was so much great material on it that I don't think they could have done that.
Yeah, I agree. It was worth doing 2 albums,
Yeah.
And it was neat to have both of them, and nobody really did that at that time either. So it was really cool to have.
Yeah, I remember my buddies. I lived in a smaller town, and my buddies, and we're trying to get, because we didn't have licenses. We were we might have been 16, but we didn't have access to a car. We couldn't. Our parents had the cars, and so anyways.
Oh, really?
We got to go get this. We got to get it on the day it comes out. And we're asking people, can you take me into the next town so I can go buy this? That's what the times were like back then, though. You were so excited when an album came out, because it's not like it's coming in the mail via Amazon or through the website.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was my weekends, was going to Tower Records and just cruising, and you didn't even know what you were looking for. You were just cruising through, and you'd pick up a CD because the cover looked cool. And back then, you could say, "Hey, can I try it before I buy it?" I don't know if you remember doing that.
Yeah.
And then we had this one record store, Turtles, and they had the stamp. So kind of like the more you buy, the more stamps you get, and then you get free stuff. So it was cool. That was fun. Of course, everybody, I don't know if y'all had Columbia House back then. Where you get the 10 CDs for a cent and sign your dog up for it. But, I got a lot of CDs that way, too.
That's so funny. Because I remember my parents wouldn't allow me. They're like, "You're not doing that Columbia House thing. It's a farce." I'm like, "I don't think it is." So anyways, my buddy got the thing, and we clipped it out of the magazine. And he's like, We'll share it. So you buy you buy 2 of the albums, and I'll buy 2 of the albums when we have to fulfill the membership or whatever it was. So then we got 13 tapes for a penny, and they came, and then we divvied it up, and it all worked out well. My parents never knew, so
yeah,
they might know.
It was awesome. You could. I don't see how they stayed in business for so long. I guess there were a few honest people out there, but once you signed up and you're a teenager, you have no money to pay for. When you split the paper, you're like, okay, so I signed the dog up, and the dog's getting CDs in the mail. Okay.
Well, it was so enticing though, because you'd see those album covers in this ad, and it'd say a penny, and you're like, how can I go wrong for a penny, right?
Exactly.
It was such a cool thing. But
look, I mean, the artists are probably making more off that penny from 10 albums that you will one stream on Spotify. So it's probably worked out better anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I believe, from what I understand, is they used to press their own material. They did.
Gotcha.
They had I guess they had the masters, and then audiophiles now today, people buying albums, if it's an album from Columbia House, people, they kind of tell you to stay away from it more than like the other pressing, because sometimes their pressings weren't as good, especially on vinyl.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, so I can understand how, I guess they did stay in business, but then now they're not in business, obviously, right? So, let's get to Twisted Road. The album's going to be named Twisted Road as well?
Yeah, the album is named Twisted Road. It actually came out on February 28th, and it was the way that Bill wanted to do it, which I thought was really cool, was for the first month, it was only available on physical CD. So we had a lot of people who were emailing, like, it's not on iTunes and this, that, and the other. Like, you're going to have to buy a copy. And so it did finally come out on digital format on March 28th. So it's available everywhere now.
That's awesome. I'm going to, I honestly, until I didn't know the band, and I apologize for that, but there's just so many bands, and I started listening to it, and I'm like, and now I'm a fan because I really like it. And
well, that's awesome. We appreciate it, because I've talked to Oliver a couple times, I think, on email in the past, and he hooked us up with some stuff. So we've had a prior relationship with Sleaze Rocks before, and you guys are always honest and do good stuff. So I'm glad you dig the stuff. Because I get what you're saying. There's so many bands out there, and we have to compete, with all that. And everybody now can make a record because you can do it in your studio. But for us, the key is to get it sounding really good. So we have a full production studio in our rehearsal space. I mean, we got really good gear, so it's not all, Pro Tools, based, you plug your guitar into the computer. That's not how we do it. We, we do amps, we'll hook up the live drums, and, we keep doing it till we get it right. And then we send it over, and we pay good money for our mixer and producer, Andy Riley, who's worked with some big name people. I mean, Bruce Dickinson he's worked with, and just old stuff. So he's really good, and if you want a really good product, you're going to have to pay Piper, and that's what we've done. And we feel that this came out really sonically good.
That's fantastic. So what is the scene for music like in Atlanta now?
Well, it's pretty tough. I would say about 10 years ago or so, maybe a little bit more. I mean, it was packed with local bands and people just going out to shows, not knowing who was playing. Over the years, the tribute band and the cover band phenomena has really taken over, and a lot of the clubs that have catered to local independent original music, they started shutting their doors. So there's still some places to play around, and people will go out, but I think right now the big thing is cover and tribute bands, and so we actually don't play here in Atlanta much. We'll do it maybe one or two times a year. Just to make sure that we get enough people out that we don't want to oversaturate ourselves out here. But there's some really good venues that we've got that have been here for years that won't go away. So, there's, when we play, people are excited. So, there's a lot of metal here. There's some indie music and, obviously hip hop. But there's a little bit of everything, and everybody will go out and see, anything, really.
Yeah, I always like to ask, comparing, like, I live near Toronto, so Toronto's not really, it used to be a great music scene, especially for hard rock back in the early 90s. It was, it was very big, but it's just as each year goes by, it seems to die down more.
Yeah.
I think,
when we go out on the road and play shows, it seems like all the fans in every town seem to have the same, say the same thing. They're like, it's just not what it used to be, So I don't know if it's because we don't know what's really going on, or if it, and there's something else that we're just not hip to, or if it really just isn't what it used to be. So, and kids are kids, and they're always going to like music. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll drive by it's sad that it's torn down, but there used to be a place called the Masquerade. It was here for years and years and years. It's been an old cotton mill that they turned into a 3-story stage venue.
Oh, cool.
And you'd be driving down, and you would not know who the hell was on the marquee, and there's a line of kids out. And that was just exciting to see. So It's still out there. You just got to look for it.
Yeah, for live music here, a lot of it has to do with regulations the government has put on, taxes.
So what kind of regulations do they put on it?
Not really regulations, but for instance, a beer at a bar is expensive. So people can't afford to go out for the whole night and be drinking beer at the bar all night. For the most part, I'm sure in Atlanta you probably can't smoke in a bar anymore. I don't know if you can or not, but here, probably about 15 years ago, maybe they used to have like smoking rooms in the bars, and then the government said, oh no, you can't have that anymore. So everybody's going to go outside. It's just, they've really made it hard for the bar owners that are trying to book bands to make money. And it's
and I think you're right. That might have something to do with it too. And honestly, that phenomena happened here too. It started out with certain cities going smoke free, and then for the most part, there was one or two that were holding out, but you can't really do that. I think for the most part, though, drinks, beers, and stuff like that, they haven't really shot through the roof. So if you want a cheap PBR or something, which, I would have a very bad hangover the next day, but you can still get those for like $2 or $3, so it's not too bad. But I get what you're saying. If you got 4 or 5 bands playing, it's tough to go out and see all of them, so it's, I get it.
Yeah, it's just, you know what, maybe it'll come back. Who knows? Like it would be, I would love to see that where, everywhere it's just live music again and rock and roll and,
what you're seeing now is everybody doing it live from their basements. I wonder if that's going to continue to carry on, even after this is all over, that people say, hey, we can still bring fans in that way. I personally, I don't think it's, I think it's a crutch and it's good for right now. Fans want to do it, but, for the most part, it's all about getting out there and engaging and interacting with the fans. It really is.
I could see it where there's going to be an influx of people out. If come the summertime and they're like, okay, everybody can start going out, hopefully maybe, I've heard like 2 conflicting things on it. Like everybody's going to still be cautious, or is everybody just going to go nuts and be like, I'm going out and we got to go out because we've been in the house for so long?
I think everybody's going to go nuts. And all the bands that need to make money, they're going to be first they're going to be knocking on the promoter's door, they're going to be knocking on the bar's owner's door, and it's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of choices, and a lot of people are going to be overwhelmed at which show they need to go to because it's been so long and everybody's going to be out there playing. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I more or less all day is spent, like, besides doing my podcast and getting ready for it, because I've had a ton to do and it's been amazing. But other than that, I'm watching live shows on YouTube and like whatever I can get, just stuff I would never sit down and watch. And then it's like, oh, check this out. You know what I mean? And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's a good time for people who've got nothing better to do to discover Asphalt Valentine. That's for sure.
That's right. And I mean, I did too, because indirectly because of that. So that's a good thing as well. So
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to let you go in a second, but we should make mention of the other members in the band.
Yeah. Do I know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we got, me, I'm one of the original members, founding members. Scott Clark, who is the bass player, he is original founding member as well. Then we have Brett Caramella on rhythm guitar. He'll play a little bit of leads here and there. He is our old school bluesy rock and roller, but he's been in the band pretty much since the beginning. I'd say maybe he missed a year or so. And then we have Brian Jung, who is on the drums. He joined, I would say, about 3, maybe 4 years ago. So he helped write this whole record, and he's been a great addition to the band. I mean, just his attitude and his, all of our, just our humor and stuff. We all get it, and that's why we've been together so long. For lead guitar, for the record, we had Evan McKee do all the lead guitar, and he was actually in the band back in 2010 and doing all that touring with us. But he had left, and he's been in San Francisco. So that was a little challenging doing this record with him all the way out there, but we got it done. But we need a local guy. We've got a guy, Daryl, who has been with us since November, and he was so excited to get out and play some shows that we had on the books in March, and so we'll just have to wait. But that's the lineup right now.
Fantastic. That's great. Before I do let you go, is there anything else you want to mention about Asphalt Valentine? Anything? Hopefully, do you guys have any upcoming shows? Once this is over, was anything in the summer?
No. Yeah, as far as shows go, we don't have anything that on the books. There's a lot of irons in the fire. I think one of the shows that we were supposed to be playing in Baltimore, which was the Ballroom Blitz, that was a 2-day festival kind of thing. They had some pretty awesome acts on it, like Visto Blanco and Last in Line. And so it's going to be really fun to play that. And I think that's being rescheduled. So hopefully we'll be on that. I'm not sure the exact date, but that will remain to be seen. But as soon as this is lifted up, that is our number one focus, is to book shows and get out there. And we will put all that information out on our Facebook, which is just facebook.com/Asphalt Valentine. And then we have our asphaltvalentine.com website. So we'll be blogging and put all that stuff out there, and just be on the lookout for the record. We've got some new T-shirts and hats that we'll be selling soon. So we got a lot coming up. New video for Twisted Road's going to be coming out here soon. So we're going to be very busy, and we can't wait for everybody to see it.
Fantastic. Is it released on vinyl or it's not?
So vinyl is it's in the talks. So we'll have to just see how the record sales go, because vinyl is expensive to do, so it's got to make sense. And obviously we want to do vinyl, but the ultimate decision will come to Bill at Highball Music. So if we see vinyl, we see the record's doing good, and hopefully we'll get it out there.
Okay. That's good to know. I'm going to tell all my friends then, so they go and buy it, and then it'll get released.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, Joe. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and you have yourself an amazing night and a good Easter weekend.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Tyson. It was great talking to you, and you stay safe and have a great Easter as well.
You too, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.